Okay, in the interest of trying to be thorough with all our Derby entrants, we're going to try to take a look at TO password. Now, the disclaimer is the information is very limited, and of course, it's skewed towards Japan. So, I don't follow Japanese racing terribly much, and some of you do. If you have some insight, please drop me a line. Feel free. I would love to. I would welcome it for sure. These connections, like I said, they don't mean a whole lot to me. But this horse did get to the Derby and did win a stakes race in his second start, so there may be some precocity here. He won the Fukuryu Stakes in March, and the distance is 1,800 meters, and so it's a little somewhere between a mile and an eighth and a mile and 3/16. A little closer to a mile and 3/16, I would guess, and that's important when we are going to watch it. I do have a replay of it. We look at the pedigree, and of course, all Japanese thoroughbreds basically emanate from Sunday Silence in one capacity or another. So, Capano Ricky was Horse of the Year for JRA in 2015, and that is there's two wings of the Japanese national racing program. There's the JRA, and the other one escapes me, but that's how they get two entrants, because one from each. And Forever Young being from the other one. I think it's like the HRA, something like that. I'm sorry. I can't be more thorough about it. But Capano Ricky, looking at his running lines, he won quite a few stakes races. And it looks like he won some classics, too. So there is some stamina there. We know the Japanese are very big on breeding for that. And you look at the dosage index of 1, indicates that this horse is probably skewed a little more towards stamina than speed. You do see two influences on the in the solid column from the dosage profile, and you see a pretty good genetic strength value score. T.O. Rachel, this is her first foal, T.O. password, but you do look at her conduit mare profile, and it is skewed a little bit more towards stamina. So the 1.25 miles probably is going to be a pretty good distance for this one, I would guess. We take a look at Capano Ricky's get, and he is a fairly new sire. And you see there are no black type stakes winners in there, which is a little bit of a concern, but it is a limited sample. So perhaps, your guess is as good as mine. I just list it so you have a frame of reference if you want to investigate it a little bit, but not going to be terribly revealing, and I'm sorry about that. We look, and obviously this is the only offspring of the mare, so really not much revealing there. We look at the Equibase, and another thing it's not revealing, this horse only has 2 races, the last being in March at the Fukuryu Stakes, and we'll take a look at it and see what we'll see. Okay, so this is the Fukuryu Stakes at Nakayama Racecourse, and this was run in March, and you can see TO password is over here in post position 10 if you follow the arrow there, and he won't be hard to find for the rest of the race. You see he gets a little sandwiched out there on the outside early on, but he is able to break pretty well, and he's able to get right up to the lead. You see how the Japanese do it. I hate that. They go from front to back. But there's TO password up on the lead.
外に11番ラオラシオン並んでいっています。後方寄りの追走となりました。馬群は1コーナーから2コーナー。逃げたのは10番テオパスワードです。リード1馬身少々。2コーナーのカーブ。2番手には5番のプッシン。1馬身半がいて8番センチュリボンド。この内に1番ラタフォレスト並んでいって3、4番手。外からすっと11番ラオラッシュを押し上げてきました。2番手集団が4頭で固まって向こう上面です。残り1000を切っていきました。その後も差がなく3番のノットイナフ、7番のサンライズソレイユが続いていって中段よりも後ろ一段になってきました。内からは6番ラムゼイテソーロ後方の追走。3コーナーを目指して800を切りました。 1000m は1分3秒9でいっています。後方にかけて後ろ3頭、4番アラレタバシル、外に9番ハーバーライト並んでいます。2馬身半がいて2番のアンバードール一番後ろです。最後コーナー中間です。ほぼ一段で進んでいます。 10番テオパスワード先頭ですが差がなくなってき
Let him
まし
run
た。
pretty
徐
open
々に
rein.
5番のブシンが迫ってい
Grab
って
him very
この
much.
外に8番センチュリボンド大外に出していった11
See,
番
it
ラオ
looked
ラシ
like
オ
here they're
4
about
頭
to
が
inhale
横に
him,
広がる
but
形4コーナーカー
he
ブから
stays
女
with
性
it.
へと向かってきます。逃げる10番のテオパスワードリードを1馬身
He's
から2馬
actually
身
got
振り切り
plenty
に
of
かかります
horse
が
left.
外から11番のラ・オラシオンが追ってくる200を切りました。間から5番のブシンその後ろから外
He
2
looks
番
like
のアンバードー
he's
ル
game.
4番アラレトマシルが追い込んでいますが
He's got plenty left,
先頭を粘る10番テオパスワード2馬
He's
身
also
3馬身
begging
のリ
for
ード
the wire
2番手
because
から
here
4番アラレトマシ
big
ルが上
time
がって追ってい
closer
る
when
10
he
番
gets
テ
up
オ
in
パスワード
time,
テオパスワードゴールイン
albeit
4番の
barely.
アラレタマシル迫って最後は2頭
So if we look at issues and concerns, I mean, I'd be lying to you if I had really any idea what level of competition TO Password was running at. But one thing I would say is that the fact that they were just about to inhale him at the wire tells me that the late fraction was pretty kind of slow. He didn't have a lot of horses that were terribly good who could chase him and track him down. So the closers must have been the better horses in the race. It looked to me like a field tantamount to like the Florida 3-year-olds. Not very good. Nobody could go get him. Nobody, so he was just sort of left alone on the lead. Jockey wasn't grabbing him. He was pretty free-reined with him. So to me, I mean, 154.1 looks like a pretty decent time for that race. But again, he wasn't pressured. He was allowed to go get the lead by himself, and he was on the engine, controlled things, and barely hung on to win the race. And if that race was just a little bit farther, they would have caught him. So, to me, visually, T.O. Password, I think, is a toss. He doesn't look like much to me. So the issues are fairly obvious. Class, of course. What's he been running against in comparison to a Derby field? Progression, he's only had 2 starts. Certainly impressive to go a route in a stakes race for your second start and come out on top. But I really didn't like. It wasn't a race I would get terribly excited about. Just the way that he just barely hung on. And of course the pace, probably not going to be allowed to dictate like that. As we know, the Japanese, they do love to train for speed. And I would be curious watching the workouts. If he starts putting in those 57 5-furlong works like they were doing with Crown Pride a couple years ago and Summer is Tomorrow, then I think it's a real safe bet. They're just going to gun this one from the front. They have, I don't know why it is that they do that, but it is something to watch for. So, in sum, there's not a lot of information here. I don't know how revealing this was, but at least we got to see T.O. Password run. And from a visual perspective, I don't think we have anything to worry about from him.